ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਗੱਦੀ ਦਿਵਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ। ਅੱਜ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਗੁਰਗੱਦੀ ਦਿਵਸ ਹੈ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Can I ask how many of you do not understand Punjabi at all? Can you raise your hands? Yeah, that's fine. I just want to know. And how many of you do not understand English at all? ਜਿਹੜੇ English ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝਦੇ. Okay, so looks like, okay, so we have to do in English, but I'll do a little bit of mix where Gurbani comes. Okay, when Benji contacted me to talk about myself, I thought this is the silliest topic that's ever given to me, but then I thought, okay, I'll take the subject on and I'll do some research, obviously look back into my life, and then we'll try to talk about it. But trust me, this was the most difficult subject, because when you think about your life, you know everything, but you don't know how to explain it, because this is more or less feelings rather than a story for you. But I just thought, okay, I'll try. So if I bore you at any point, because I'm just talking about myself, which is totally contrary Sikhi, really. You don't talk about yourself in Sikhi. But hopefully, the reason behind it is the right intention. So hopefully we're able to take some inspiration, not only from me, but from each other. So let's make it interactive discussion rather than me lecturing you in any way. So feel free to jump in if you feel like, with a question, with a comment. And also before I start, it's a word of caution and also request. When you talk about yourself, and particularly in Sangat, you have to be honest. Because the whole point is that I can be honest with you, and we can learn from each other. But there's a huge danger of sharing your life, your personal life, with someone. If you think it's someone. I'm just treating you as myself at the moment, because we are Sangat. It's Gursikh Meet, hai na? By saying this, what I mean is that I'm just expecting and hoping that whatever I'm going to say now, you're going to treat it as if it's your own life experience. Just imagine for a while. And all the good and bitter experiences, you will treat them with respect. Obviously, it's my life. I want to treat it by respect, but I expect the same. And that's the first lesson that I want to give anyway. Not that you don't know. And secondly, I want to say is that I'm not teaching you. I'm just sharing. So if I say you do this, you do that, it applies to all of us. I'm obviously trying to give Guru's teachings here. Whatever I know. I don't know much, but whatever I know, I'll just try to do that. So, topics that I've been asked to cover is, I need to see, yeah, that's fine. Life before Sikhi, life after Sikhi, which is not yet there, and the journey really. I've already cautioned you. So, when I thought about it and I was trying to put something in presentation, as back as I can go in my life, all I can think of is Kirtan, which brought me into it, Seva, and Hut. Do you know what Hut is? Okay, Hut is, something, okay, say you're doing a bike ride. Say there is a team of 5 people who are riding a bike, and there is a competition. You are very tired. Say one of you is very, very tired, and you can't do it anymore, but you are doing it because someone else is doing it. So what you're doing is a hut with yourself. You're forcing yourself to do it. Okay? So these 3 things came to my mind. It could be more or less, but this is all that I can remember at the moment. Kirtan was one thing that connected me. Every time, without knowing what they're singing, without knowing what's the meaning of it, what's the importance of it. Every time I heard Kirtan, it was there was a bit of a feeling that you want to listen more, and that's it. You felt that you're in love with something, someone, I don't know. And other thing was, when I used to see, obviously, our parents used to go to Smagams and used to accompany them, whether for whatever reason, again, without knowing reason why we're going there. So Seva was another part, because I saw ladies and even, males as well doing all their own part of Seva, sometimes the whole day long. And when I saw them, I wanted to do the seva, whether it's Prashad Day. But then this hut came into existence. And what was that? If someone has made Prashad Day, I don't know, for an hour, And even if there is so much garmi and it's just burning, because obviously when I was in India at that time, just to make it clear, it's quite summery, and when you're sitting around low means at the hot plate, it's quite hot. And after a while, you feel like going away. But I did hut because for some reason I thought if I do that, I'll be more, more blessed by Guru. That was my feeling. Or I'll be ahead of someone else in Sikhi. I was an Amritari at that time, just to make it another point clear as well. So maybe at the end of the day, I was having headache. My eyes were, because after the water kept coming out, but you felt like doing it just because there was that feeling in me that it will take me somewhere. Whether it did or not, I don't know. Yeah, but I just felt good by doing that. And that was just, I'm talking about when I was in probably age 11, 12. That's what I'm talking. So that's age. So anyway, it kept on and on and on. And I just used to hear one pankti a lot. Satgur bajo gur nahi koi, nigure ka hai na bura. And it used to hit me because I was an Amritari. And when you used to hear katha, most of the time most of the time I heard what the simple interpretation of this pankti was, okay, if you haven't taken Amrit, then your name is bad. That was the interpretation to me. So I wanted to take Amrit, but it wasn't allowed as such. My mom is here, you can ask her later if you want to. I wasn't allowed as such to take Amrit because of various reasons. One of the biggest reasons was that you don't get to find the right match when it's time to get married if you take Amrit now. So it doesn't mean that my parents were into Sikhi, and obviously they were quite devout. At the same time, they thought, looking into the circumstances of the area, of the time, or whatever they thought, obviously they were much wiser than me. They thought that this is the right thing for her to do. So what I was advised was that you can take Amrit once you get married. And that's it. That's the last thing. So what I used to do is just wear kirpan of my mom and just look in the mirror, because I just thought that I look beautiful when I do that. And that was the only reason I wanted to take Amrit. That's another thing. I have to be honest with you, as I said. There was no other importance of Amrit for me at that time, at that age. Anyway, one day we were in a samagam. I don't know if you've heard Rampur Kheda. There's a Kheda Sahib. If any of you have attended the samagam, beautiful place, beautiful samagam. The environment, it's changed over years, but at that time there was a small sangat, but very strict. You can't talk when you're there, Paradar are there and everything. But anyway, we were just sitting there, and there was Amar Sanchar on that day, on that morning, the last day of the samagam of 7 days. And my family, and there was another, my mom's friend's family, we were all sitting together having a chat. I think it was tea time in the morning. And Amrit Sanchar was just going to start. My brother was allowed to take Amrit on that day. All the children of my mom's friend's family were allowed to take Amrit on that day. And it just happened so that my mom's friend asked her that, is she taking Amrit today as well? And just, when someone asks your mama, because everyone is, and she didn't say no. Because there was that sort of pressure that everyone is taking Amrit. Why? Because she can't disclose the reason really. It was difficult for her. And she said, it's up to her. And I just ran away and took a car from there, and that's it. Went into a Sanchar ceremony, and no one, because it just happened so. It was just that blessed moment, without knowing the consequences, nothing really. And no one said no, so just went for a Sanchar and came home that night. It was dark by the time we came back, because it was end of Samagam, last day, and no one believed me, no one at all, because I was a totally different person. Although I loved Kirtan, there was that sort of love, but externally, I used to look totally different. I was probably the most extravaganza, maybe, very bubbly, very talkative, which I am still, maybe. Also, I think it was more showing off. I was used to go in school. I would like to dress up the most. Every opportunity, I will not miss it. So that sort of things. When I came back and, when I was obviously the star, just wearing chunni on my head on the first day, and, people used to look at me and have a laugh. That, she's not going to survive like this even for a day. Chalo, what happened was, the big question for me was that, did something change in me? Because obviously, okay, that's one of the physical process that you go through. That's Amrit ceremony, to see Amrit Shakla. But what does it change you? And that was a question for me. But I never asked this question from me until I was writing about this, a couple of days ago. When I asked this, did something change in me? The answer was, the first response was yes. Now, what was that? We will talk about it. But one thing was for sure, that the next day I went to school, everything was different for me, my behavior, my looks, and the good thing was it was natural. I didn't have to pretend. Now, from where this came, again, I think that's something we need to think about. From where it came, what changed me. Is it jida pa kehne bhi amrit andar jande kuch change ho gaya? I don't know, but we'll talk about it now. Again, there was one thing. Yeah. Next slide will show you that in nutshell what I felt like. Again, that's my feelings. That is, I'm talking before Amrit. Yeah, that's what was happening in nutshell. Do you understand what that means? You're trying to fill a bucket and you keep putting something into it, but it will never fill up. Why? Why? Yeah, because of holes in it. And that's what was happening, really. And I only felt that later on, because there were holes in it. Basically, I was doing, and I think Gurbani se jo kuch likha hai na, it has got a very, very deep meaning, whatever is written in Gurbani. And if it's written that you need Guru, and obviously it's our Guru's hukam to go through that particular process. So there is a reason behind it, simple as that. And that's what I'm feeling today. That if that movement wouldn't have come to, obviously I was blessed, and that's why I was blessed with that movement came in my life. If there was no Guru Prasad, if there was no blessing of Guru, and that movement, Rabb na kare ke da na hoya hunda, I was not blessed with Amrit. One thing I can say about my life is for sure is that I would have been totally different person today. I'd be sitting in a pub today. Mainu koi richo nahi hega, kehte hain koi sharam nahi hegi, because that's what kept me going. Because it's not easy. But there was that sort of restriction in my life now that you can't do certain things. Okay, I want to tell you another thing. Did I prepare myself for Amrit? Obviously, I think you know the answer now anyway, but still, because when I came to this country, I heard a lot from youngsters that I'm going to take Amrit next year, or maybe in 2 years' time, or 3 years' time, or 6 months' time. And when I asked why you put that timeline, and I was told that, I'm preparing for, say, how to do Nitnem, I'm preparing for keeping Rath, or I'm just preparing myself to live a life of a Sikh. Which is, I'm not against it, don't think I'm against it, but I just want to share my experience so that, this could happen as well. And I never thought this will happen, but, just so that you know. For me, it happened spontaneously, and was I doing Nitnem before? What do you think? No. I did sometimes. I just used to like Japsa because there's that rhythm, pyar ji rhythm hai na, namastanga kale, namastanga kripale, just as a sort of enjoyment. Sometimes in the night before going to bed, because that was my free time. I used to go to school early in the morning. Badi mushkil uth ke school pahunchida si. But anyway, just sometimes, and it took me about 45 minutes raat nu jadon karna, but kadi parts to be karna, without any sort of putting myself into any discipline. Just I wanted to do it just for my own enjoyment, really, as you're reading a poem. Forgive me, but I have to be honest. So that was the first day. I did Nitnem in one go. Okay, was I keeping Rath before? No, not as in Guru's Rath. Whatever we were doing as natural Sikhs, that was happening anyway. but not I wasn't wearing the cards, and I think many things come along with that. Okay, what do you think? Did I struggle next morning? Obviously, imagine the situation. Say you're in that situation. What would happen? Would you struggle next morning? Next morning means that you have taken Amrit today, and now that's it. You took Amrit last evening, ya aaj keh lo, and next morning, how would you struggle next morning? Okay, how many people think, ya jinna nal hoya vi, I don't know how many of you are Amritari, non-Amritari. How many of you think that you will, if that happens spontaneously, all of a sudden, how many of you will struggle? Raise your hands. जे करना होंदा ना डट के करो नहीं तो ना करो डरने वाली केड़ी गल है okay so rest okay that's fine well I didn't struggle the next morning that's my experience you know why I think there was that sort of power all of a sudden there was a lot of cha do you know what cha is? A lot of enthusiasm lot of pyar man chao pyar pravagam sunya ये जड़ा chao है ना this is totally different chao. You know, you can't compare with anything else in the world. And out of that enthusiasm and pyar, everything is possible. It took me, you know, a good while to do Nitnem in the morning. And another thing Panch Pyare said to us when we went for Amrit Sanchar was that in case something happens, you're not well, or whatever the situation, that you miss your Nitnem, they said two things. One is that you have to do Nitnem next day twice. That means that you can never ever miss your Nitnem. And second thing was that in case you haven't got, say, gutka, because at that time there were no iPhones or PDAs. I'm not that old, but still, there were no PDAs. Or, well, I never saw any. So they said, Mool mantra di mala karo ek 108 wali jadi hundi hai. That will take more time than Nitnem. And that is not only, say, once, 5 times with a Panch Baniya in the morning. That will take ages and ages anyway. Anyway, so, and I thought that's rather more difficult if you miss your Nitnem. So it's a good idea to keep your Nitnem on track anyway. And it did happen because my board was, I don't know if any of you are from India, my board was the toughest board of India. That was ICSE. And if you compare it with any of the other boards, it's quite difficult. You have to really burn midnight oil to pass your examinations. But one thing was, you know, first day I thought, I don't know for how long I'll keep doing this means Nitnem. But ek gal, you know, if I can say, Mardi Jurich ke, you know, up till today, there was not one miss. Ke, whether I was able to do it, no. You know, that's what I want to tell you. Okay? It's not you or me. There is something behind you. That's what keeps you going. You know, it's not possible for any individual on this earth, you know, to keep themselves disciplined. But there is that sort of pyar from Guru. But you have to have that sort of longing and belonging as well for your Guru to succeed. It did happen that I wasn't able to do in the morning. Now, there was another thing Panch Pyare said. They said, if you're not able to do your Nitnem, then don't eat. Up till or until you have done your Nitnem. Now, that's just rather more difficult for a person like me, you know, who can't really miss one meal. And, you know, those things, although sometimes we think, bade ritual je hai gain, sometimes we think like that, hai na? Ke bhi ki lod hai gain na cheezan di, why we need to say this, ke don't eat until you've done your Nitnem. But I think, personally me, it really helped me. Because I would have missed otherwise, I think. Chalo, I'll have my breakfast and I'll do my Nitnem at 12, 1, whenever. Because it's a whole day, really. It did happen. And I didn't eat, but it was quite difficult. Headaches, you know, and everything. You're not feeling comfortable. Then I thought, you know, why can't I wake up an hour early? Obviously, because, you know, I'm making myself lazy. That's why I'm struggling. So why can't I wake up 1 hour early? Or why can't I just finish studying 1 hour early? And then, you know, basically make a balance of everything. I have to change my life now because I've committed myself. Unknowingly, I've committed myself to something. So those little bit of restrictions helped me a lot and still help me even today. Yeah, the next question is, was it me? I think we all know, no, it's not me, it's not you. And that's the thing I need to emphasize in the whole presentation. We need to have a belief that there is once you've surrendered yourself to Guru, Guru aake tanu garvakdi chila lenda. Guru hugs you, and that's it. Keep you close and close, and always keep bringing yourself closer and closer towards him. There's one funny thing. Did people believe me, as I said? You know what happened? Next day, I was sitting with a few aunties of the area, and I said, I've taken Amrit. Bade chanal. You can't take Amrit. So, and I still remember, I was quite young at that time, as I said, age of 13. She said no. She kept laughing, and you know what she did? She pat on my thighs, I think. And what she said is, "Haan, tu to sachi umar shakal hai. It's reality." I thought, why? She said, "You're wearing kashera." She didn't believe me until she checked everything, that you're wearing all the kakas and everything. I said, okay, well, anyway, so that's truth. But because as I said, my behavior before, my looks and everything were such that, I know it's, how can I say, we should inspire others and we should motivate that, okay, if you have taken this step, then, be on it, live on it. But this doesn't happen, sadly, sometimes in our community. If with any of you that doesn't happen, then just take the sahara, the support of Guru. And have a, strong belief that there is that one strong power that will keep you going. Doesn't matter what other person think about you, whether it's looks or whatever. Well, it all changed, and as I said, it was all, next morning I did my nitnem, went to school, and it was all goodness. And I did feel that evilness in me is coming out from second to second, from moment to moment, and wanting me to do something else other than, as I was doing before. But then I felt that whatever that goodness is, it's helping that evilness. You might be thinking she's talking too much philosophy, but this is what I felt. Something good in you is helping something evil in you with pyar, politely. It's amazing, isn't it? You are actually fighting within yourself, with no one else. But ultimately that goodness wins. Because there is behind that, there is Pyara Guru behind it. So what were the consequences? Went to school. Next morning I used to study in Catholic school. As I said, that was my board. With patka on my head. Because I was told by Panj Pyare ke tusi sir nahi nanga karna. You're never ever going to take off whatever head covering off from your head from now onwards. When I did go in Amritama, I asked Panj Pyare, because at the end they asked that, have you got any questions at the end of the ceremony? I was asked कि कोई किसी ने question है क्या before you go out. The Amrit ceremony जो conclude हुई. And I did ask कि look, I go to Catholic school and we wear skirts and there is no chance I can cover my head. They talked to each other, and then what they said to me in front of everyone, because there were a whole congregation there, go back to your school and explain to them that your life has changed. You have committed yourself to your Guru. Being very young, it was quite difficult for me to understand what they're saying. But anyway, I took that on board. They said, explain to them that this is what happened, and from now onwards, this is how you will look like, and this is how you will come to school, whether you like it or not. That's what Panchpara said to me. And I said, okay. They said, if they understand it, fine. If they do not, call us and we will come and help you. We will explain to them. You being very young, we'll explain to them. And even further, they said, if we come and they do not understand still, then be prepared to change your school. And that was a bit difficult for me, that last bit. But then I thought, I was very, as you said, nawa, and I thought, yeah, school change it doesn't matter. And I said, that was the first thing anyway, before I even came home. And I thought to myself, I even have to make sacrifices now. What have I done to myself? I went to school and explained my principal. Nuns, they wear that long dress and head covering and everything. She looked at me, and I went about half an hour early so that I can explain her. I went to her, whether she called me really, what is this? And I explained to her. Okay, guess what happened? It's all me talking. You have to contribute as well. Guess what happened? Just imagine. Yeah, she hugged me. She said, brilliant. And I was just thinking, okay, you know what she said? Because obviously she's Christian. She was Christian. and she has committed her whole life, because she was a nun, to her faith. And I think that faith in her let me, have my faith in my faith. I think that's what happened. If she wasn't faithful to that belief, whatever she believes in, then it would have been difficult for her to accept that sort of my transition. So I think that worked wonders. After that, it was difficult for every single teacher, because there are all sort of teachers, all sort of students. I was in class 8 at that time. And ultimately, 4 more students took Amrit in that year, just because they sort of got that, they thought that she can do it, why can't we do it? And I think that was quite beautiful. Not that I said anything to them, it just happened. Yeah, before I went to school, I was quite scared, but there was that confidence as well. And I strongly believe that explanation power that I explained to my principal, head teacher, came from Panch Pyare. And as I said, there was good appreciation. So in a nutshell, if I try to explain what we've talked so far, is that, are we still there? Okay, well, keep going until we reach in nutshell. Yeah, that's it. So Kirtan was the only thing. That's it. Kirtan was the only thing I believe that kept me going. That, and it might be something else for you. I don't know, but that was for me. Even I wasn't able to understand Gurbani. A sort of connection of music and, as Guru says, Kal Jug Mein Kirtan Pradhana. That connected and kept connected me. And other thing was, every time I heard Kirtan, it was more or less in Sangat. I didn't have MP3 or, I don't know, whatever. Didn't have any of those. Every time I heard Kirtan, it was more or less in Sangat. And I strongly, strongly believe it was only and only Sangat that I'm still here today talking to you. I wouldn't have been here. Because you can do more, many things at home. But sometimes you're off the track, because at the end of the day, you're a human being. We're all human beings. And it happens, we make mistakes. But Sangat brings you back. You go to Sangat, you don't even talk to someone. But that sort of vibrations, the positivity, and all sort of, Sangat jira pyar hai, that brings you back on the track, without even you have talked to anyone. And there's a pankti written as well. I don't know if you can see. Well, anyway, you can see the translation of it as well. That what's the importance of satsanga? That I thought this is a beautiful pankti that explains about satsangat. Now today, I feel there's a long way to go for myself, but I don't feel bad about it. I think it's a good thing, because at least I'm on the right track. And I'm quite sure about it. There's no doubt. Because if you live in doubt, then really you're wasted. Until you're sure, you're just wasting your life. You have to be sure about what you're doing. Otherwise, what it becomes? If you do something without knowing why you're doing it, what it becomes? Shall I say it again? If you're doing something without knowing why you're doing it, what is it? It's a ritual. Do you agree? It's a ritual. And what did Guru Nanak say about ritual? No. So are we following Guru Nanak? So that's a question for us, really. So we need to ponder on that. And time and again, when you're kind of here and there, off the track, Guru actually brings you back. He keeps reminding you that he loves you. Something happens with you. Does it happen? Something happens with you. The only thing is, you have to realize that this is happening because you're off the track. And you have to admit it and bring yourself back. Sometimes we say, oh, mere naal inna mada ho gaya, ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya. But we don't really realize and accept that main bhi kisi naal mada kita hai. And obviously, jo aapa karna hai, ohi hona hai na. And one thing more is that not every single day in your life is going to be the same day. That's very, very important for us to remember. We look at some other people sometimes and we say, he's always in Chardikala. He never had anything bad happening to him. His children are great. His wife is great. He's got a big car, I don't know, big house, best job in the world. You don't know actually what's going inside that person. All you can do is take the best of it, not be jealous, but take the best etiquettes, jo bhi keh lo, virtues of that person, and use it in your life. Whether you will get all good things or not, don't care about it. Because believe that you got the best plan of your life created by that creator. And you have to have a belief in it. And with that only belief, your life will become best. And again, you have to have a faith in it. Okay, what happened in all these years? Now, what slide is it? Okay, can we go to next slide? What happened in all these years, and what is still happening? When Amrit was taken, first thing what happened was physical appearance changed. Not much, but just started covering my head. And that brings a lot of issues with you. And it happened with me. I'll just share quickly what happened. When I finished my studies, I went for a job. Wanted to get a job straight away. I finished my degree and asked for a job. Anyway, we went for an interview. 7 girls, because I was doing my engineering, and at that time there were not many girls in civil engineering. In the whole batch there were 7 girls. 7 of us went for the interview. Every one of us was interviewed. Anyway, one of us got the job. I think 2 of us got the job. Yeah, that's it. And I came back and I thought, what shall I do? I need a job. But I was advised by my parents that you might as well study further, because once you start the job, it's going to be difficult for you to study again because your time and your brain setup changes. Okay, I started my master's. So continued, did my master's in 2 years, finished my thesis, everything. Went for the job interview again. And coincidentally, this job was advertised in the same company. And a bit of higher position, but the same company. And I went for a job interview in the same company again. Now, when I went there, my classmates who were selected 2 years ago were still there. Anyway, I was interviewed, and then I was told that job isn't yours. I was quite upset because I thought I've done my master's and interview was good. Why job is not mine? But I can't appeal really. It's India. And what I did was, I was quite curious. My friend Anita, who was still there, she was a Hindu girl. I phoned her and asked, Anita, I want to just know something from you. And she said, what? I said, all I want to know is that why I was not selected, so that I can improve. That's it. She was quite reluctant. Because she was a very good girl, but she was very, very reluctant to tell me that why I was not selected. And I asked her again. I insisted because I thought otherwise I'll never get a job if I don't improve myself. And there is definitely something wrong in me, and that's the reason I'm not getting a job. And in the same company twice. And there was only myself on that day to get interviewed because no one really applied. She said the only reason you didn't get a job was because you were covering your head. That's it. And I was surprised, but happy. I was happy because thank God that I didn't get a job in this place. Because if they're asking me to uncover my head today, they would probably ask me to remove, to wear short skirt as well tomorrow. Because they don't respect me the way I am. They don't really are after my capability, but they're more after my looks. And she said, if you come tomorrow with your hair down and wearing jeans, because I was wearing a suit like this. I was wearing the star at that time as well. She said, the job is yours. Because boss said that she won't be able to go out with him on parties and whatever. I said, thank you. Okay, man. I was upset as well because I needed a job at that time, desperately. But anyway, chalo. I started and you know what happened after that? I got a job in university, straight away. And that job, a million people were after that job. And I got that job straight away in university where I was studying. I did that job for 1 month. I came here in the UK to do my PhD in engineering as well. Did my PhD here for about a year, and what I'm doing now, this job was advertised. And this was advertised, the criteria of that job was that you have to be living in this country for about minimum 3 years, and you have to be of that certain age, and I was quite below age at that time. But that's something that was advertised in that job was something that I was doing on volunteer basis in India. So quite attracted me. Anyway, I applied, had a very, very long interview. Very much enjoyed my interview because there were no expectations from my end, because I knew that there is no chance that I'm going to get this job because of the security clearance firstly, and secondly my age reasons. That same night when I was waiting in London to get my coach to come back to Birmingham, I received a phone call from some London number 0208. That's all I know. And this person said to me, is it Mandeep? I said yes. He said, I can't resist myself to tell you that you were the best candidate today, because he was one of the Sikhs in the whole panel. He said, I'm not allowed to tell you, but it was so good that I want to tell you, and I'm just so proud of you. I wasn't happy to hear that. Why? Because I thought, I'm not capable of doing this. It's a massive, massive responsibility. And the reason that they have given this age limit is for a reason, because you have to have life experience to deliver something. I wasn't happy. Anyway, I phoned my mum and I did, and my mum said, do ardas. And say to Guru that, look, give me this job finally if I'm capable of this. Because after that, there was another process of about 8-9 months of CRB clearance, all those sort of security clearance. And I thought, Guruji, je nahi hega, just fail my CRB or whatever. Because I don't want to take on this responsibility without being capable of it. Because this is not about me, this is about Sikhi, because I'm a Sikh Chaplain. And the only Sikh Chaplain in the entire armed forces. And if I say one thing, they will treat it as a policy. That's quite difficult position. Whether you're joking sometimes, they will treat, if I'm talking something about Sikhi and, I've said something, they will treat it as a policy, because Sikh Chaplain said that, yes, a Sikh can do that, because she said that. And I'm a human being, I can say something wrong as well by mistake. But anyway, today I'm doing this job, so I just thought, I'm thinking today as well that Guru thought that I'm capable of doing that. That's why he gave me this seva, and this is how I take it. So what I was saying was that, there was job discrimination. That's what happened to me in India, but look what happened to me when I came in UK. What if, I always think to myself and always say to myself, what if I've taken that job? Because I was desperate. I've taken that job and I've changed myself a little bit, here and there. And I've taken this job and made that boss happy. Would I be happy today? Or would I be neither there nor here? Na main guru di rahi, na kisi aur di rahi. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have that little faith and have a belief that whatever plan is coming to in your life in time is perfect, stick to it. Have a little belief in it. Very small thing, but quite difficult sometimes to do. Sometimes, we forget about Guru and go to Babbe and everyone, mera nahi ho raha. I know sometimes we are in difficult situation. Have faith. There's not a single thing that we cannot get from our Guru. There's one condition. What is that? What is that condition? There's not a single thing that you cannot get from your Guru. But you have to deliver something. That's just bharosa. Faith. There's a common saying that if you ask, there were some Hindu people and they said to Devta, the deity, that, give us the rain. And they went out that, okay, we have done the ardas and the rain will happen now. And the Devta came out and he said, they said, where is the rain? We are waiting for rain, not for you. And he said, where are your umbrellas? If you're so faithful in me, you should have bought your umbrellas, because you were going to get wet. You don't have faith in me, so you're not going to get rain. So that's what I'm talking about. And I think we're all on a journey. We still have to, work on it and keep developing our faith. And also, you're the same person. After you've taken Amrit, all of a sudden you are a saint now. Well, that didn't happen with me. I don't know if that happens with you. That's miracle. It's amazing, but that didn't happen with me. So you're the same person. But one thing is that does happen is that people expectations about you, from you, change. All of a sudden it will change. I don't know why. You can't do certain things that you were doing because they will think you're a bad person. So you have to act differently, whether you want it or not. Because it's not you now. You're part of Khalsa. It's a big sacrifice, but well, it's up to you. if you want to do it or not. I know I'm talking about Amrit a lot. I'm not here to say that you should take Amrit today. But just because this happened in my life, that's all I can share really. There's not much, but this is much for me. So, and if I can quickly give you another story, I think there might be getting boring now. I was staying in hostel when I was doing my degree. And when we had our immediate junior batch coming, we used to do that sort of ragging. I don't know if you know. Ragging is that you tease new girls who come into the hostel for a couple of days and you keep doing it until they settle in and you make their life a bit difficult. And I was senior at that time. We had a lot of done on our end, but anyway, that was our turn. I was just sitting in a corner and listening to what my classmates were saying to the junior batch who came in. And one question that was asked by my classmate to the junior batch was that, okay, all of you four who came to the new batch, you have to turn by turn you have to tell about 7 of us who has got the love affair. So do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, all of you, the new batch, in turn by turn, all 7 of us girls, you have to tell by looking at our face that who has got a love affair with a boy or whatever. So they told, and then I remember only one girl for some reason. She said, when my turn came, and that's all I remember about my turn, she said, every single of the girls, she said yes. And when my turn came, she said no. I said, that's not very nice. Every single one you think has got an affair, has got a boyfriend. Why not me? She said, you look too religious. Why? Because I was just wearing patika. I was wearing pajama. It was night and we were wearing night suits. And the only difference was I was wearing patika. So I thought to myself, amazing how much respect this one piece of cloth on my head has brought in my life. I don't know her. She don't know me. But every single one of, rest of the girls were told that. So that's kind of, don't you think it's kind of how judgment. Doesn't matter how much we think, we're not going to judge anyone, but it happens. So she judged everyone, and this is what happened. I just, I realized this story only today. Okay, so what happens really? You change yourself, physical appearance, your bana changes, and ultimately what happens is your attitude starts changing. And this is the most important thing. If you change your bana because you've taken Amrit, and if you don't change your attitude, forgive me, but there's no point. There's no point at all. What if you haven't got the compassion in your life? What if you're not being truthful to other people? What if you haven't got respect for others? There's no point at all. It won't happen in a day. I know you can put on bana in 1 second. But your attitude, straight away you have to change your attitude. It will be difficult, but you have to begin from somewhere. And when we talk about this, Amrit is like taking admission into institution. After that, assignments, examinations, all of that follows up. And if you don't work hard, then you're not going to pass. So that's the way I treat it, and that's the way I still treat it. Because, as I said, something changed in me, but I wasn't saint next morning. And I'm still working towards it. And one of the few virtues that I always reflect back on are, one of the most important is sweet speech. Guru Nanak said, Nanak fikir boliye, tan man fikar hoye. Very important. And all of us need to reflect how we treat other Gursikhs, our parents, and our friends. Do we see Gursikh in them? Do we see Guru in them? That's a question for us. Farida burida palakar, gussa manna handai. We all know this. What is it? Very simple Punjabi. Farida burida palakar, gussa manna handai. Agge give that. What happens next? Anji, dehi rog na lag gayi, palle sab kuch paaye. Very simple. 2 things. Farida Friji says, burida palakar, do good to evil and don't be angry. 2 things. Are they easy thing to do? Probably the most difficult things, I think. Because if someone slaps us once, we'll probably slap them twice. So, but that's what Guruji is saying, so we need to think about it. And what will happen actually? What are the consequences? There will be no illness at all to us. Tanuman, donati. So amazing, isn't it? Even if you write this on a piece of paper and stick that in front of us and just look at it every day, I think our life will totally change. And we are still, we will holy slowly moving transformation to becoming Gursikh. That's the real Gursikh. Ultimately, there is no such thing as me or you. For you. For you, it's all about, others. Ultimately, it's no such thing exists in your dictionary as me, because you're here to serve the humanity. Gursikh da kam ye hega. And you know what will happen because of that? There will be no more such thing as jealousy. If you take two things out of your life, say, even try today, obviously if you're talking that much, I think I've taken you 45 minutes now, I should shut up now. If you take two things out of your life, one is jealousy, completely. Holy, it will happen. Just try. And second is Ninda Jubilee. Two things. It will transform very, very quickly. And it will happen. You will still, if you're into Ninda Jubilee now, you will have that kandaras and you will feel like doing it. But you have to try. If you want to be an officer or whatever, you have to work hard towards that. And if you want to be Guru da Pyara, you have to work towards it. Simple as that. It's not that, okay, Amrit Shah Kalyan, now everything is bad, theek hai sara kuch. No. We are very judgmental towards others, aren't we? I feel that. I don't know about other communities, but Sikhs are very, very judgmental. I don't know what Guru will be feeling or thinking about us. Guru Nanak never judged anyone. Anyone. When you read about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he loved everyone. He loved everyone so much that just with his love, everyone became, his beloved. He was a lover of everyone and still is and will ever be. Why? Because he loved everyone. He never judged anyone. Doesn't matter what other person was doing. Sajjan Thag. Did he judge him? He made him pai Sajjan. It's beautiful, isn't it? Obviously, I can't share the stories now. I think time is up. Other thing is, try to accept what God's will is. ਆਪਾਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੋ ਤੁਧ ਭਾਵੈ ਕੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਈ ਜੋ ਤੁਧ ਭਾਵੈ no one knows. Okay, ਜੋ ਤੁਧ ਭਾਵੈ ਸਾਈ ਪਲਿਕਾਰ ਤੂੰ ਸਦਾ ਸਲਾਮਤ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ. We read that about 3 times every morning. And ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵਾਰ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ. But do we accept it? Okay, if you do, brilliant. If not, try it for tomorrow, for one day, just one day. If someone talks rude to you, accept it. Explain to them politely, but don't be rude back to them. If kuch mada changa tadi life chunda, accept that happily. Try it for one day and see how you feel. And then let me know. Okay? Now, how this is possible? One thing is, if you have started Nitnem, stick to it and feel that you're doing it for a reason. It's not a ritual. Try to keep the wrath. Most importantly, have the love conversation with your Guru. And what is that? I call that in a form of Saj Bond. Doesn't matter how many ang you do. 1 ang, 2 ang, 10, 20. But that love conversation, when we'll talk to your Guru without any sort of, hey, main karna hai idda. You're just doing it for yourself to become more and more close to your Guru. Things will change. Your life will change. Not only your life, people around you will see that transform in them because of your positive vibrations. Guru says, Mat vich ratan jawahar manak, je ik gur ki sikh suni. Sirf ik. But we say that, but we have to listen to it to have our life changed. You guys are very slow, you don't move. But anyway, my presentation is over. Well, you can go through if you wish to. You can just click on and, if that makes easy for any one of you to understand what I was trying to say. So basically, you don't know where you transform yourself. And had it ended now? No. I won't see. I think there is a long way for me. And the only thing is, for many years, I didn't even knew that I have to do Amrita Vela. I didn't knew. Totally. To be honest, it worked well. I didn't knew, and I think out of that ignorance, only thing that I had in my life was Nityanem. That's it. And that was treasure, and it still is treasure. And without knowing at that sort of age what I'm reading, why I'm doing this, and sometimes it was difficult for me. There was no time, difficult examinations, but theek hai, and then also Gursikh said that whenever you go to Sangat, try to come back with positiveness. Don't go there and gossip. that was advice given to me, because I just used to love to go to Sangat and have Kirtan, listen to a do Kirtan, jo bhi jiddan di vi seva mildi si. And the only advice that was given to me with bade pyare Gursikh jihadi aj bhi mere naal gall nibdi hai ki whenever you go to Sangat or any good company, try to not to talk about personal things, because there is no such human being on this earth who haven't got, as in mistakes or kuch galt na kitta hoye ya koi kamiyan na hon. It's bound to be. It doesn't matter. You got the same. You are in the same plate. Come home of their virtues, bring that home and apply that to your life. If you will start gossiping about others there, what have you ever heard? Gurbani jo bhi utthe khatam ho jana sara kuch. So don't think that we come to Gurdwara and we have heard Kirtan for 2 hours and I've done chugli for about, 10 minutes or maybe 3 hours. What are you taking home? What's the point of wasting that 5 hours? We come to Ransabai, we listen to Kirtan and then we go to Langar Hall and do. If you're talking about something good, fine, absolutely fine. Guru di gall hai, theek hai. But you're talking about, I don't know, gossiping about this person, ya one ida kita, ya one kita. I mean, like, what are we taking? What's the point? Is it a party where have we come? So I think we need to judge ourselves rather than anyone else in the world. Pehla apne wal dekho, apne girban mein sir niwa kar dekh. Pehla apne wale dekho, jado ho gaya na perfection hogi. Then we will start thinking, chalo theek hai, unu jaake vi appa keh diye. Well, there is a right. You can say to dusri Gursikh nu jaake gal kar sakte hain. We can talk politely to others about if you don't like anything. But what's the point of talking at the back and judging others? So if we want to cut down our karam, bad karam, we need to raise our good karam. Okay, that's the only way. So cut down on irkha, ninda chugli. That's raising our bad karam a lot every day. And that's raising a stone wall between us and Guru. So how are we going to see Guru, meet Guru? And if you're helping someone, if you're talking good to others, if you're doing some sort of seva, then I think all that stone wall is going slowly and slowly, thalle. So we're able to meet Guru then. Okay, so I just try to be honest, and I think it might be very boring for you to listen to someone else's story, which is quite plain and maybe boring as well. But thank you for bearing with me, and I also apologize because that was the topic given to me, so I have to stick to this topic. Whether this was inspiration or not, I'll leave that to you. But I really felt I think it was a good reflection for myself, so I should be thankful as well to you. Although it was very difficult, but still I should be thankful to you. For giving me this chance to actually reflect back on my own life, so that there are a lot of areas to improve, and to see we ardas karyo ke with blessings of each other. Deho sajan asi sadiyan jo hove sahab samel. So we keep doing that. Bhulan chukan di maaf ji. Vaheguru ji ka khasa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh.